where our very existence is viewed as an opinion, what is being disputed is not our rights, but our personhood. Trans and non-binary people know this well. We know that this has never been about the bathrooms or the pronouns. This has always been about our right to exist. We know that the closet is a cage where people put the parts of themselves that they don't want to see anymore, and they put us there too, to keep their repression company. We know that the goal has always been about our disappearance, to make gender nonconformity obsolete, like analog television or a telegraph spitting beat poetry to a room of Philistines. We know that we are fighting for our lives, for the fleshiness of them, to be more than a symbol or a metaphor, but to be human. And that's precisely our problem. Because we spend so much time knowing how the world sees us, we forget to see ourselves. And Travis's work is a reminder of that crucial distinction, that it is possible and necessary to develop a point of view of ourselves as trans and non-binary people outside of the cisgender gaze. And that even if we can't fully do so, it's still worth striving for. Travis steers us away from the judiciary, past the governments, back to ourselves. What are the stories we tell about ourselves and why? And perhaps, more importantly, what gets left behind on the cutting room floor? None of the above lives there in the scraps, the uncouth and inconvenient parts of ourselves, the politically inexpedient parts. This is a treatise on trans ambivalence. In a society that requires trans people to be absolute in our self-conviction, or else be abandoned, Travis writes that they do not know if they would be trans in a world without gender norms, that their relationship with their gender is more fleeting than fixed. They write that they cannot isolate their sense of self from the world around them, which has taught them that certain things are masculine and certain things are feminine. That, for all their ideological commitment against the gender binary, they, and we, are still so deeply steeped in it. This is a treatise on imbrication. It posits that there is no outside, no pure space, that ourselves and our stories are fundamentally communal, and therefore, so must be our deepest ruminations, the awkward and inopportune parts of ourselves that we don't often share with one another for fear of being misrecognized. This is the genius of Travis's work. In departing from the conventional law of trans memoir, Travis takes us to no man's land. Though, I suppose as non-binary people, that's where we should have been all along. They take our clandestine in-community group chats and project them onto the page like drive-through cinema. They take the internal monologues, the hesitations, the thoughts that precede speech, and splay them out like a fish. They take everything we don't write about in public because we're afraid it will be used to undermine our legitimacy and erode the political gains we've made, and they put it on display in a permanent exhibition, a book. And they do this seemingly heretical act because they love us, not for who we should be, but for who we are, for our contradictions, inconsistencies, and hesitancies. It's a courageous act, as most displays of love are, because in a world where we are attacked from the outside, the political program prescribes a unified front, within ourselves and our community. And in rejecting the simple stories, before and after, us and them, inside and outside, Travis bequeaths us a precious lesson. In our pursuit of humanity as trans and non-binary people we are, perhaps, dehumanizing ourselves. Yes, of course those who have taken a pledge of allegiance to the gender binary view all of us who strive beyond it as a security risk. Yes, of course those who believe that you can take the chaos of the world and churn it into two discrete categories sit front row at our disappearing act with raucous applause. But what of us? We who grow up with fear as a third lung that barks every time we open our mouths. We who first see ourselves in cartoon villains and the monsters in fairy tales we're told as kids. Do we see ourselves as human? And if we did, how would we